Sharpays or something? Sharpays?
Yeah, Sharpays.
And then they grow into their skin. Imagine if we were like that. We were born with our adult skin just hanging off us.
They look like something out of Doctor Who.
They do.
Yeah. I am the Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got 2 hearts, your life is safe. Run into the Master Raw, Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else. Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride. It's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space. Oh, what's that? Exterminate.
Cyberman, a Daleks, baby.
Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go. A new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you. Best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH, the Deadpool 2 of things you stick in your ears. As always, I am one of your hosts, the Fire Fist, a fat kid full of rage. I'm Adam O'Sullivan. Joining me as always is Cable, the person sent back in time to kill me, but ended up doing a podcast with me. It's Nicchia Shut.
Oh, yeah, well, you were just so sweet and nice and...
Thank you.
I don't know, I just couldn't do it in the end.
I feel like this will change the timeline so I never grow up and kill your family.
Yeah, gosh, is that what you do? Oh, I forgot that.
That's what happens in that movie, yeah.
I was thinking of Deadpool 1, I don't know.
And there's no time travel in Deadpool 1.
No, I didn't think so, but...
Our guest today, our star, our Deadpool, please welcome Matt Ford.
G'day, guys.
How's it going?
Hello.
It's lovely to be here. Thanks.
Fantastic, thanks for
It's
joining
good
us.
to be on the podcast. I've listened to it. I've listened to the podcast
Oh,
before.
awesome.
Hey, that's better than most guests.
Only the first 2 episodes though, because I've only seen the first 2 episodes of the new season.
Oh,
of
and
Doctor.
how are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it. The only reason I've seen the first 2 episodes, I want to watch them all. Obviously, it's just I've started watching them with my brother, so I got to wait till I can watch them with the rest of them with my brother.
I don't know how you can stand it. I have to watch them straight away.
Yeah, it is annoying. On Christmas Day, I was like, "Come on, mate, let's."
Yeah. Screw the family.
You did wait a week to watch Resolution.
I did,
so
and that was really
I don't know
hard.
how you did that.
But I wanted to do that. I wanted to watch it the night before the podcast, just so I could have that still. Sometimes when...
So no spoilers.
Yeah. No
spoilers. We won't be talking
On this
about
one.
Resolution today.
Promise we won't.
To start us off, do you want to just go through your history with Doctor Who?
Well, actually, last time I saw Nicchia, I think I was telling you about how first Doctor I ever saw was a black and white episode.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a Hartnell episode, and
they're old eps,
Well, they're the first eps.
Yeah.
And I actually did some research the other night because I actually wanted to track down which episode it was, and it was the very first episode.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought that they lost those episodes, but they didn't. They never lost the first one. It was just like other episodes around that time. And so I went online and I looked it up, and I found like the exact date and everything.
Oh, wow.
It was before. Yeah, I got like a TV guide from like 2000.
You're a real nerd.
It was exactly. It was Monday, the 15th of September, 2003.
Wow.
And I remember it because my stepfather is the person who got me into Doctor Who.
Oh.
I remember, being young, you'd just watch like The Simpsons at 6 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
Or the news, whatever.
Yeah.
My parents were watching, and then my stepfather was like, "Oh, we're watching Doctor Who," because they were bringing back the episodes. This is before the new Who episodes.
And they did the repeats on the ABC.
And they brought it back after like 6 or 8 years of it. Because other than that, I think it was just on Foxtel on UK TV.
Yeah.
And it was a black and white episode.
An Unearthly Child.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was written by an Australian too, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Australian connections to Doctor Who.
And the theme song was written by an Australian too.
There's a whole, in fact, because I found that information on Wikipedia, and there's a whole Doctor Who in Australia Wikipedia.
Oh, it's quite
Because
incredible. And then, of course, we had Tegan, the Australian companion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Janet, when I attended a panel discussion, they wanted her to really be very broad Australian.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got the episode with Kylie Minogue in it.
Yes. Oh, yes, we have. I was reading, they said David Tennant was so excited that he was going to meet Kylie Minogue.
She died.
Yeah, and he let her die. But he said what he liked the most was she walked around to people going, "Oh, hello, I'm Kylie Minogue," and they're all going, "Yeah, we know."
No shit.
Really?
I can't remember that episode too well, but was at any time was there a "Spin Me Right Round" reference?
No, I don't think there's any
The
references to
TARDIS
her song at all.
at all.
No, and there was no Charlene Neighbours references either. I mean, just, she's really forgotten her roots, hasn't she, Kylie?
Yeah. There is that 5-minute scene where she just walks around introducing herself as Kylie.
Yeah,
yeah, that's weird.
I thought that was weird because she was Astrid.
Her name was
Are there
Astrid.
any quotes from Kylie? I didn't look at this up at all, but is there any quotes from Kylie about her being on Doctor Who? Was she a fan or?
She loved it. She said it was great. Yeah. She'd watched it. She was so excited to get back into doing some acting, I think.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a big deal. They got to a point where they said, you only got the B graders. But look at who they've got in New Who. I mean, we've had amazing actors.
So you were watching...
Well, yeah, anyway.
You were watching when it was on ABC. Did you continue watching until they rebooted the series, or...?
Well, I kept watching it with my stepfather. It annoyed me because it was in black and white.
Yeah.
It really annoyed me as being young and impatient.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hurry up and get to the colour. Like, just get to the colour.
You had to wait 2 doctors to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that thinking is why they started erasing the tapes in the 60s, because they were like, well, no one's going to watch these anymore.
Yeah. I have very little memory because I would have been very young. I would have only been like 9 years old in 2003.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, you're such a baby.
But I read a lot of Doctor Who books as well. My stepfather had all of the books. I remember, what was it, Brain and Morbius?
Oh, my God, I remember that. I remember when I first watched that.
Well,
as a kid.
I don't even remember watching it. I only remember reading the book.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it. I love reading the books. And I know they made books out of
they're the Target books.
They've made books out of New Who.
Yeah.
Some of those are amazing.
Yeah, they're great. And I loved it too because you could read the books and you could pretend that, you could come up with your own doctor.
Yeah.
You pretend that you were the doctor and that, one of your friends was the companion or something like that.
And I think the thing was, because you know the characters so well, you could always see it. It was like a film. Even though you were reading it, it was a film in your head. You could always picture what was going on.
I feel like that's the reason, because I don't like books based on TV series. I don't usually read them, and I feel like it's because I've already got an idea of what the characters look like in my head, and when I read a book, I prefer to just come up with it.
Oh, really? So
I've never been into that.
Do you think that's why everyone says, the book's always better than the movie? I mean, the book always has more.
Yeah, there's always more explanation.
But I always felt with the Doctor, because the Doctor, he does always change.
Yeah.
You could insert whoever you wanted in your mind as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed. A lot of those books that I read were around the Tom Baker era. So the artwork on the cover was like Tom Baker.
Yeah, I've got a little collection of Target books that every time we went into town, I was allowed to buy a Target book, and they had more. So they were based on the episode, but they actually explained a lot more because they had time. So you'd go, oh, really, that big plot hole's just been fixed for me. Yes! So, Adam, you'll have to wait for the novel versions of the episodes that you found the plot holes.
Yeah, maybe they'll explain everything. Maybe I should just write the novel myself. I don't know if they do.
Have you found plot holes in the new episodes?
Oh, yeah. Nicchia gets a little bit annoyed with me when I find plot holes.
I come here and I'm like, oh, I loved it. And then I'll go, what? And I go, oh, yeah.
I also loved it. I have given 5s during this season.
You have.
I haven't given any 1s or 2s, so I've actually ranked episodes higher than you have.
There you go.
But, I am the nerd. I need to nitpick. That's the point of this podcast.
Yes,
It'd be a very boring podcast if we all just came on and went, everything was perfect. It was great.
Well, it's a very Australian, like we were talking before. It feels like it's a part of Australia watching Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, Kylie Minogue watches Doctor Who. Now, people talk about it being for nerds, and I'm not. I would definitely not classify myself as a nerd. I played rugby league, and I love drinking beers and partying and all that kind of stuff. But I love Doctor Who. I love it.
I don't.
My favourite Doctor. That's why I'm here. Is David Tennant, and he is arguably the nerdiest Doctor.
Oh, definitely.
The
nerds. He was a
loved
huge
it.
fan.
I mean,
maybe not as huge a fan as Capaldi, but he was a huge fan.
Oh, he was a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, he described his look as like geek chic or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I loved him, and I think the reason
Did you have a pair of red Converse shoes?
No, I got a lot of pairs of Converses. Well, he didn't always wear the same pair of Converse.
No, he started off wearing cream, and then at one point they were
creamy.
blue, and then at one point they were red.
But I actually am kind of like the Doctor. I have multiple pairs. Well, Tennant's Doctor. I have multiple pairs of Connies, not because of the Doctor, just because my mum finds Connies and buys them for me.
That's nice.
I got like heaps of them, like just heaps of them. But yeah, and he's a very nerdy doctor, but I love him.
Speaking of Converse, do you know he had to fight to wear those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
He brought in the cream-coloured Converse, and he's like, this is what my doctor would wear. And they go, no, we've got a lovely pair of boots for you. And he goes, no, this is what the doctor would wear. And he had to fight for it, and people were just like, this is ridiculous, do not wear these shoes. And eventually they allowed him, and obviously it's become part of his
I've got to be
costume.
honest, that's actually one of the things that does annoy me about the David Tennant Doctor. It doesn't annoy me anymore, but I remember at the time just being like, what is with those shoes?
Oh, really? See, I thought that was quite cool. And he said he got the idea from watching Jamie Oliver on the Graham Norton show.
I was just about to say that.
Aren't we a bunch of...
We've all done our research. Fantastic.
Yes.
But yeah, I watched some of those old Who episodes, and you know, I liked it. It was cool. I guess it was. You know, it wasn't watching Simpsons episodes I'd seen a million times every night.
But did you find them really slow?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of filling.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I liked Pertwee and Baker, but yeah, the rest I was like,
awesome.
Balding doctors wasn't really into it.
All right.
And actually, and that's kind of why when New Who came out, I was kind of on board. I liked Eccleston, and I know that was kind of part of the character when he regenerated into Tennant. He made a reference to the fact, I'm not going bald or anything.
Yeah.
And I liked Eccleston. I really liked him.
He's my husband's doctor because he's his first doctor.
Only one season.
One and done. Yeah. Well, some people really like Paul McGann, and he just did the movie.
Yeah.
But then I suppose they've expanded him more in audiobooks, and Eccleston will never do anything related to Doctor Who ever again.
No, it all went poorly. So I've got a segment, and I'm going to call it "It's Not Who, It's You."
It's me. Is that?
Yeah, just you personally. Yeah. It's not who, it's you.
It's me.
Not you, Adam, please. You just take everything personally. It's Matt. No, it's not you either.
Ooh.
Okay, remember when your first doctor left and you knew the series would fail without them?
Yep.
Remember when the next doctor started and you joined the online chorus of "It's not my doctor"? Doctor Who's not the same anymore. The new doctor's ruining it. Well, history is the decider on all those doomsday predictions, and I'm here to inform you, Doctor Who always survived. So it's not who, it's you. Widely regarded, David Tennant. We're talking about him today. He is widely regarded as the most popular doctor since Tom Baker. But here's what they said when he was first introduced. Too much hair? I don't like the way it sticks up.
Oh, too much hair?
Yeah.
Wow, they must have hated Matt Smith then.
Yeah.
They were like, that's too much hair. And then they saw Matt Smith and they're like, oh, God.
Don't like the way it sticks up. The doctor shouldn't have sideburns.
Yep.
I don't know when that rule came in. He looks like a mod.
Yeah, true.
He does a bit.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Here's another quote from another critic. The new TARDIS driver crash-landed into his sidekick Rose's hellish council estate to announce a new Eccleston-free era of time travel. The trouble was, the scary-looking Scottish actor made the announcement that he was the Doctor in an outrageous Dick Van Dyke Cockney accent. Despite the strange decision to stretch his vocal skills too far, Tennant seems okay as the latest star of BBC's legendary no-expense spared sci-fi show.
Wow.
So he said he seemed okay. Then Dick Van Dyke. So do you all know about the Dick Van Dyke reference?
Is that from Mary Poppins?
Yeah. The Dick Van Dyke's Cockney accent in the Mary Poppins movie, it's ridiculed in the UK. It's a big joke.
Heresy.
And it's pretty much heresy. And so when Tennant came on, and that's what they said. All the critics said his Cockney accent is just about as good as Dick Van Dyke.
Well, because he's Scottish.
He's Scottish.
I remember,
and they wouldn't let him be Scottish.
And I remember that, they wouldn't let him be Scottish because Eccleston had a very thick Mancunian accent, and they didn't want to have two doctors in a row with these really regional accents.
Well, what I like about it is that Doctor Who, Stephen Moffat, not Russell T Davies, but Stephen Moffat, and he recognised it and he played with it in The Day of the Doctor. Do you remember in The Day of the Doctor, David Tennant's Doctor, when the War Doctor speaks, he says, "Oh, I'm loving the bit mockingly, loving the gravelly posh thing." And Matt Smith's Doctor turns to him and goes, "Oh, you can talk, Dick Van Dyke." And I thought, what a great reference.
Most of the doctors, the classic doctors, have like that posh British accent, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It just was the way it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just shows that even someone who is now regarded in the same esteem as Tom Baker was, still derided when he first started. I didn't know this, but when he decided to leave the show and Stephen Moffat was taking over, Stephen Moffat actually wanted to have very serious conversations conversations with the BBC about just cancelling?
After David Tennant.
No, the BBC wanted to cancel.
After David Tennant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says Stephen Moffat has admitted that starting out as a new showrunner and with a new doctor and a new companion is absolutely not how you're supposed to run things. And he even suggested that there were high-up conversations within the BBC about resting the show entirely after.
Yeah. So he said that the BBC basically wanted to cancel the show.
Well, I personally reckon that would have been a great idea. I'm joking. I got on board.
They were worried that Tennant was the show, basically. Yeah, he was way too popular.
I think they were worried it was going to happen what happened after Tom Baker left.
Yeah, because I'll finish how I got onto Tennant was Eccleston, whatever. I kind of went in and out. I remember watching the end of that season, mainly because of the Daleks. I had to watch that. I had to,
of course you do,
see the Daleks in New Who, and that was awesome. And then they regened into Tennant, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. But what really got me into Tennant was when I was around that age, so I would have been, maybe 12, 13, 14, around that kind of age. You know how they definitely don't do it anymore. I think they do still do it, but it's probably not as popular as it used to be. Yeah. When you used to be able to go to the newsagent and get those little packs every week. I remember I got a Charles Dickens one. That's how much of a loser I am. It was a different Charles Dickens book every fortnight or something.
And
the first one was always $5, but then afterwards it would always go up to $50 or something.
And they had a Doctor Who one.
Yeah. Oh really?
And so it was right around the Tennant series. So I've still got them. I had a look at them last night, and you'd get three of the episodes on a DVD. I think it was the first DVD I ever got.
That's pretty good.
So I'd go every week and I'd get the Tennant DVDs. I never really watched it live on television, but I always got the DVDs from the newsagent.
But you're a different era generation, because if I missed it on television, that was it. When I was growing up, I had to be there. You've never seen a woman run or a child run, rush and panic as much as I did.
And now in this day and age, my brother's a lot younger than me, and like I said before, I haven't been able to watch the new series because I haven't been able to get together and watch it with him. But it's not really a big deal because it's you can watch it anytime you want.
You can download it, you can watch it on Netflix.
Especially considering there's such a big gap until the next series. Yeah. It's all right, that's cool. Yeah. I can space them out and I'll be happy.
I mean, I'm kind of...
It's just hard to avoid spoilers.
It is. I'm kind of jealous,
but it's not for me because I don't hang out with nerds.
Oh, that's right. He's with the cool kids.
But I am. I'm literally...
Whereas I had to make sure I didn't go on Facebook before I watched the last episode because I was like, everyone I know is going to be talking about it. So
I literally do not have any friends who watch Doctor Who. Now I've got you guys. So
we're so sorry that you have us now.
Yeah, I have one other female friend that I used to work with in Toowoomba, but no, it's I've never had a lot of Who friends.
Even my stepfather, who introduced me to Doctor Who, he will not watch it. He will not watch.
Oh, when did he stop watching?
New Who.
As soon as New Who came out,
really?
He wouldn't even watch it. He got me into it.
Wow, he refused to watch the new series.
And he despises Tennant.
What?
Thinks he overacts.
I think he's a bit shouty sometimes, but that's his doctor.
I get in frequent arguments, not even just with Doctor Who, but with Tennant in general. I got a mate, we watch television shows together, series, and I'm trying to get him to watch Broadchurch, and he's like, no, Tennant overacts and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God,
he is amazing.
And I'm like, who cares? Because he literally, I'd say he's probably not just my favourite Doctor, he's in my top 3 actors out of anything.
And by the way, if you ever get a chance to watch The Escape Artist, he's in that. He is amazing.
One of my favourite series of all time is Taken Over the Asylum. You've ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
He's very young. He's 22 years old, and it's amazing. I think it's one of the funniest.
He's in Stephen Fry's film too. What the one he did about the 1920s with all the posh
Casanova.
The posh kids.
No, Casanova was the BBC.
Something young things.
One.
Oh, gee, it's going to come to me.
Actually, mentioning that, in that same interview that Moffat gave about where he said the BBC was thinking about cancelling the show after Tennant, they also had issues with them casting Tennant for Casanova because they were like, you should have cast someone who was sexier.
Yeah.
Casanova needs to be really sexy, so they didn't think he was sexy enough. But Russell T Davies was like, no, this is the guy I want for Casanova.
Oh no, he's sexy. He's sexy, definitely.
Oh yeah,
I love him. I don't understand how anyone could not like him.
Me either.
And
apparently they said the same thing about Benedict Cumberbatch for Sherlock. They said he wasn't sexy enough.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There's something just quite mesmerising about him. He's not traditionally. I don't know. Is that what you call
But they want a traditional sexy.
That's sort of sexy ugly.
One of the things I love to do is I love to, go on YouTube when I'm drunk and watch things that will deliberately make me cry.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And one of the things that always makes me cry is when he gets some British Screen Award or some television.
And the look on his face.
Oh, and there's like a reaction video where they just show him.
Oh, yes.
It gets me every
Actually, I watched that last
Kills
night,
me.
and everyone says how understated his performance is. So it's interesting that people are saying how he overacts because everyone else is saying he underacts.
Yeah. And if you ever want to see overacting, just have a good look at Jim Carrey or, when they're doing their comedies. That's overacting.
Or just other people who have played the Doctor.
Well, exactly.
Well, the clip that always makes me cry is the end of time, where he goes around to each of his companions. Oh, I watched that again recently for this episode, and I lost it. Okay, anyway.
I actually thought about watching it. I was like, I should watch that again, and I was like, no, don't watch it.
No.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself through it. It's a brilliant episode, but god damn it. Anyway, let's start with our first segment, Doctor Who News. Did you guys see the picture that Georgia Tennant posted on Instagram over Christmas?
I did.
Yes.
That's his wife?
Yes.
That's Tennant's wife.
And the Fifth Doctor's daughter.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. I did know that, yeah.
On December 17th, 2018, Georgia posted a picture of her father, Peter Davidson, who played the Fifth Doctor, obviously, standing on a chair trying to change a light bulb whilst being watched by his son-in-law, David Tennant.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
And the caption was, how many doctors does it take to change a light bulb?
I haven't seen this. Have you got a photo of it?
I don't...
How dare you bring this up?
I'm so sorry. Bring up an
No, it's all right. I
picture
don't
of
have
it.
to see. I can look it up afterwards.
It's on my Twitter.
Fair enough.
As of this recording, the picture has almost 24,000 likes.
It is an amazing picture. And what's funny is that Peter Davidson's up the ladder changing the light bulb and David Tennant's just watching him.
Yes.
How many doctors does it take to change a light bulb? There's a joke there for sure.
There has to be. I don't know what the answer is.
Of course, Georgia Moffat played the 10th Doctor's clone daughter Jenny in the series, and she and Tennant went on to marry in 2011. They have 3 kids together, and Tennant has also adopted Georgia's son from a previous relationship.
I know.
They got 4 kids.
I know, but isn't that incredible? I mean, he was going out with the girl in the fireplace.
Oh, yes. Madame de Pompadour.
He was going out with her for a little while.
As much as I am a fan of him, I'm struggling to... Does he still rock the sideburns these days, Tennant?
He usually has a beard, so he probably...
Oh, yeah.
Depends on his roles,
grow,
I think.
Yeah.
He was amazing in Broadchurch. I cannot believe anyone would think that he wasn't. But anyway, Bright Young Things, Stephen Fry directed that film.
Oh, okay.
And David Tennant's in it. And I saw it before he became the Doctor. And he plays this weedy, weaselly, horrible character. And I thought, that cannot be the Doctor. And then he turns up completely different. I mean, this guy can act.
Oh, he is phenomenal.
I mean,
I can't even say it, bro.
He's my second favourite Doctor. But
Who's your favourite?
I should say he's my third then. Tom Baker's always going to be my favourite.
I was going to say, Tom Baker. Yeah.
He was my Doctor. And then Tennant was certainly my favourite Doctor of the New Who until Matt Smith.
Okay,
and I just fell in love with his character.
As soon as they regened into Matt Smith, I was not on board for maybe a good year. For about a year, I was like, his head's too big. His head, he looks like he's got a bongo of a wig on.
I was the same. I was not a fan of Matt Smith. In fact, Eccleston was my first Doctor that I watched, and I went through that experience when they changed to Tennant. I was like, I don't know if I can accept a new person.
The first regen was the first regen of the
and
New
the
Who.
first episode of Tennant's. By the end of the first episode, I was 100% on board. I was like, yep, this is great. Took me a few more episodes to be like, this is my Doctor, but by the end of the first episode, I was like, I'm on board.
His first episode was a Christmas special,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yes.
And that was the first time they did it, and it was so successful that they've done it ever since.
I think they used to do them in the old ones, didn't they?
They did it once.
I don't know.
They did a random episode where they had like a 12-episode Dalek.
I don't know.
In the first season, they had the 12-episode Dalek arc.
Yeah.
And then one of the episodes just happened to be like the Feast of Stephen, where they did a Christmas-themed one. But it was sort of like the Star Wars special, where it was called something different.
Yeah.
Holiday special.
It was life. It was not Christmas. It was the Feast of Stephen.
It was a bunch of Daleks singing a song.
Well, they released his Dalek song.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Kill everybody all the way.
They released a song called I Want to Spend Christmas with a Dalek in the 60s, and it did so badly that they never released another song. All right, today we will be talking about the 10th Doctor portrayed by David Tennant. Tennant first appeared as the Doctor in the 2005 episode The Parting of the Ways. His first full episode was The Christmas Invasion, which aired on December 25th, 2005. Tennant's last regular appearance as the Doctor was in the End of Time specials, one of which aired on Christmas Day 2009 and the other on New Year's Day 2010. However, he did return for the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, in 2013.
That was great.
They should call him the Christmas Doctor.
Yeah, they should call him the Christmas Doctor.
And I think one of the things that really made Tennant my Doctor and why I fell in love with him was that first episode, and the fact that it was a Christmas episode and the Santa Claus, you know, when they're in the mask and they're going around
with the tubers, the tuber of fire.
And I love that. Was so haunting to me.
Yeah,
so very. It was kind of like in Godfather 3 when.
Oh gosh, the Godfather movies. I love those.
Yeah,
I love those.
It reminded me in Godfather 3 when they got that procession down the street and they're all in the... It reminded me of that. And they did that again, didn't they, for the episode of Donna?
Yes, they did.
The first episode of Donna. It wasn't the same thing, but same thing. Someone dresses up as a Santa Claus.
He had some amazing episodes. One of my favourites was Human Nature, that two-parter.
Written as a book for the not Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy Doctor, and then adapted for Tennant.
And just amazing. Those scarecrows were scary. And I don't know how many times I've looked at a scarecrow and gone, God, crows are stupid, that's not very scary. But they were very spooky.
I also love the watch that he has, which turns him human. That comes back in Utopia,
where
I liked the Master has the watch. I could have watched the entire David Tennant series all over again.
Yeah, I have over and over. Well, because, back when I was that age, like I said, I had the DVDs. And that's all I used to do. And part of the reason I think I really love Doctor Who, even though I think traditionally it's not my kind of thing, I like watching footy, is because when I was young, I used to love going to the council libraries and getting out DVDs. And they always had Doctor Who. And that's why I'm very familiar with a lot of old Who, other than when I watched it when I was a kid, is because they had all of the Doctor Who DVDs. No one was getting them. No one else was.
So you'd have to be an anomaly because there's not a lot of people around your age at that time who would have seen any old Who and kept going.
Well, I mean, if it was on ABC. The only reason I didn't watch Doctor Who was because that Doctor Who music meant that my dad wanted the TV to watch the news. He always watched the news at 6. So whenever that music started, we were like, Plus the Simpsons were on. So we'd try and switch it over to the Simpsons.
Yeah.
But as soon as the Doctor Who music started, we're like, Dad wants the TV.
Oh, really?
Because back in those days, back when I was a kid, you only had one TV in the house.
Yeah, my family were pretty good. They knew if I couldn't watch Doctor Who, the whole world would fall apart around me. And I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere, for God's sake. You've got to give a woman something. But we used to have the goodies on beforehand. And the goodies was...
It's another show my stepfather
made
me watch. It's like Doctor Who, Cat Weasel, and
oh my God, Cat Weasel!
But so I fell in love with David Tennant. I don't even it was those episodes.
Well, that's like David Tennant's first episode where he goes on the Sycorax ship and he's like, big red button, not supposed to touch.
Yeah,
boom!
I love
and everyone thinks, oh my God, you've just killed everybody.
I don't know who I am. Like he straight out the bat, he's hilarious,
and he never stops, does he? He goes, judging by how I'm speaking, I must have a bit of a gob on me. Am I sexy? And he gives that little wink, and Rose goes,
yeah, I mean, I grew up to do stand-up comedy, he comes, like every great comedian, he comes out right off the bat and it's just kills. Yeah, he just kills and does not stop killing for 3 seasons.
Look, he really, really is good, and I always say he's my third favourite Doctor, but Matt Smith's it for me.
Well, you said second.
He's my...
you said second.
No,
before.
I did.
He's second out of the New Who.
Yeah.
So it goes Tom Baker, Matt Smith.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about it last night because we were doing this. I was thinking, why is it that I, prefer one to the other?
Yeah.
And it's just different personality qualities that I saw in that Doctor that I liked. And so what I'm interested in is what are the qualities of Tennant's 10th Doctor that really drew you to him? And have you ever done a 10th Doctor thing? Have you ever had a moment where you've thought, what would the 10th Doctor do? And you've done it. Oh, good.
I think I did it last night when I was walking to the pub.
Oh, really?
I didn't have any headphones, so I had to walk to the pub and without any headphone, not playing music. I sound like such a...
Really?
Such a Gen whatever I am right now.
God, I
can't even walk 500 metres up the road to the pub without
That's
listening
so
to a
Tennant.
podcast.
That's so Tennant.
I walk everywhere.
No, but
without
I was
headphones.
walking up the road, and actually, I think I saw like a spider web, and I don't know, just every now and again, I'll do like these rapid movements in my head. I'll have like my eye, I'll just be like looking around. I'll be overacting in my everyday life.
But then you also entered the pub and went, Alonzi!
He seemed very quick, He's a very quick kind of doctor. Always seemed to be very nimble, running around.
He really was. Out of all of them, he just doesn't take a breath. Imagine how hard. Imagine that episode that he did with Donna, and she didn't go with him, and he went by himself on that train that was going through the place. Midnight. And they had to repeat what each other was saying until eventually they were in sync. And they had to remember the exact number of pi. And it's so long. And I was reading, he was saying it was so hard to do at the same time with the character Sky, I think it was. Every time I watch, I love that episode. I think that is the best base under siege or just the Doctor really living off his wits, and you see why he needs a companion, because he needed someone on his side in that one.
Yeah, I really felt like he was a lonely Doctor.
He was.
And I know they all are. I know like they all kind of are.
No, I don't think Matt Smith was as much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think Tennant was a lonelier. I think Eccleston was too.
Eccleston just kind of came out of nowhere, probably because he was the first of New Who.
But no, you're right. Tennant was the lonely. He really was.
Even though he was his companions, they really, they all had the hots for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst thing about his tenure, is that all of his companions wanted him.
Can you blame him though?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
You blame them?
I mean, if you put David Tennant in as Doctor Who and you do not let him kiss at least one person, I'm upset.
But that's my issue with Martha, is because Martha is an underrated character.
Oh, yes.
But she's underrated because they didn't know how to write her, because they just come off Rose and they were like, we need another companion who's in love with the Doctor. If they had have just had her in there and not had her in love with the Doctor, it would have been fantastic.
That's right.
She would have been a great companion.
And she would have been the perfect companion, because I knew they had Catherine Tate coming. She would have been a great one to have just come along and then walked out at the end to be with her family, because she was very family oriented. Yeah. So she didn't have to be in love with him. Didn't she end up with
Mickey?
Yeah, she ended up marrying Mickey.
Now, did that make sense to anyone?
No.
And that was, I
mean, last time she was engaged to the guy who now plays Lucifer in the TV show Lucifer. He was in the one where she's travelled all the way across the world. It just always feels like she travelled all the way across the world for a whole year, and the Doctor goes, yeah, geez.
But isn't that the one where they're like, the paradox machine is gone, so the last year didn't happen?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you woke up and it's all a dream.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, those three episodes from Utopia to Last of the Time Lords are my favourite story arc, because I love John Sims the Master.
And look, they couldn't have picked a better song than Here Come the Drums, could they? I mean, that is just, I don't know, I always thought the Master in the old series could be a bit rubbish, but he's been quite good.
Talking about music in the Doctor, I think the only episode I've watched recently from the Tennant series is an episode I never used to like because the Doctor's barely in it, but the one with Elton.
Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters.
Yeah, it's a very controversial episode.
I'm not good with names of episodes.
That's okay.
Is it a controversial episode? Because I never used to like it.
Yeah, a lot of people consider it the worst episode.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it.
No, I don't like it.
I've only watched it once, but the one time I watched it, I quite enjoyed it.
Gave me a real appreciation for ELO.
Well, that's true, and there's nothing wrong with the acting.
And there's that weird thing at the beginning. It's not weird, but like when he goes Elton, and then he goes, not that kind of Elton, and it crosses Elton John, like a 3-second clip of him singing Rocket Man.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to him, and then later on in the episode, there's like another reference to it, which I love. He's like, my name's Elton, not that kind.
There's quite a bit of pop music in, because obviously in Last of the Time Lords, the Master's dancing around his ship, they're dancing to the Scissor Sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The only one I really remember is in Eccleston's second episode when she said, Cassandra brings out, this is an iPod and it's a jukebox. And she goes, and here's a classic old human song that everyone used to listen to, and then it's Britney Spears' Toxic. And the Doctor's dancing away to it.
And then in The Age of Steel, they drown out the noise of Cybermen being created by playing The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do too, yeah.
that sort of put quite a nasty twist on that poor old song.
Well, when you were asking me about episodes, and I said Rise of Cybermen because I love it. Because, like I was saying before about Eccleston and the Daleks, and that was the one I watched. And I was saying about my stepfather before, he never liked the new Who's, but every time they first Dalek episode, he watched it.
Yeah.
And then the Cybermen, Rise of the Cybermen, he watched it. And it was great too. It was a great storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I never understand why some people who watched it in my era, who watched it growing up, wouldn't get on board with the new one or want to criticise the new one and say it's not as good as the old one. It's Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different style.
Yeah.
Good on my stepfather for just introducing me to Doctor Who.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not.
Is this an episode about Tennant or your stepfather?
No, I'm glad that he did too.
Yeah, so am I.
But like I was saying before, I've been watching the new episodes with my brother, and my stepfather, he never introduced my brother to it. I had to introduce my brother.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I had to. And he sees me watching it with my brother, and he's going, "Oh, you're watching new Doctor Who." and then he'll always make Tom Baker.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's hard. Tom Baker was in for 7 years, quintessential. And Tennant was, when I went looking at for my, it's not who, it's you segment, it is really hard to find anything negative about David Tennant. And not that I was particularly looking for that, but I was just looking for, what were people predicting it was all going to fall to pieces.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was trying to find reviews of Casanova when it came out. Well, it's difficult to find reviews of Casanova when it came out before he was the Doctor, because everyone only watched it after. So you've got these reviews from 2015 where, of course, they're going to go, "Oh my God, he's the sexiest man alive."
Yeah.
But trying to find a review from like 2003 where someone's like, "No, I don't know who this guy is and he sucks."
Yeah.
It's very difficult to find that because
Should have got me on the case. I got a TV guide from 2003.
Yeah, you do. You could tell us exactly what they said. But because I was interested just in that. They didn't like his physical appearance and that he was too gobby. That was another one, but I didn't put that one in because that was his Doctor. Get over it. The Doctor's always gobby.
People are going to complain about anything. When Matt Smith came in, they were like, "Oh, he's too young."
Yeah.
Well, we've had young people play the Doctor before, you know?
Peter Davidson. He was the youngest ever.
And then Capaldi came in, like, "Oh, he's too old."
Oh,
Make up your mind.
Well, I think that's why I didn't warm to Matt Smith at first, because he was so young.
Yeah.
And
anyway, I've got lots
and I
to
was
say
young as
about
well,
him.
and I was like,
ugh. But then you could be the Doctor.
No.
Would you?
I'm not Doctor-esque. I enjoy the Doctor.
Would you be a companion, though?
The Doctor turns up
right
now. Would you
go? A belligerent Aussie drunk companion.
Every episode's like, "Hey, do you want to know about this? Have you seen the goodies?"
Yeah, can I smoke in the TARDIS?
He's probably got a smoking pod.
Yeah.
Is there a designated smoking area on this TARDIS, a doser?
It's so bloody big that there'd have to be a smoking room, wouldn't there?
Well, there is one episode where he talks about Madame de Pompadour, and he
Yeah,
said he's checked the smoking pods.
Smoking pods.
The Doctor would have this, this great speech about, how fragile humanity is, and I'd just be coughing in the background. Having a coughing fit.
You really shouldn't hurt, you shouldn't hurt each other and blah, blah.
Yeah, he'd have to stop his speech and be he'd give me a speech about how I need to stop smoking.
But I feel like that was also part of his reign was whenever he met a bad guy, he would always go into a little thing about like, "Oh, you're beautiful." Like that Madame de Pompadour thing where he meets the clockwork. He goes, "You are beautiful," but they're trying to kill him. The Cybermen, he goes, "Oh, look at them. They're amazing machines." Like he always had an appreciation for the people who were trying to kill him and a kind of an understanding as well. You know?
It's a very Doctor trait, but I think it's very much in I saw it a lot in Tennant's and he did understand people more. I remember Eccleston wouldn't go to dinner with Jackie Tyler, although I don't know if I would either, but David Tennant's Doctor did. So he was a little more into the family domestic
he was
thing.
more human.
But I still, what he did to Harriet Jones, I don't know if I'll ever quite get over that.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Took
her down.
That's probably why it throws him just down one more.
Fair enough. That was great casting too. Jackie Tyler and
wasn't she great?
Because I don't think I've ever seen a mother-daughter combo on television that is so spot on. Like, are they actually related? I know they're not actually related, but you could I've never seen such. Oh my God, that is totally her daughter.
Yeah, you could fully believe that they were mother and daughter, but also that they probably hung out all the time.
Yep.
They lived together
and they lived on their estate.
Yeah.
Everything about them. There was not not one bit where you went, they're a bit posh or something.
Yeah, and I love when, I think it's the second episode, when they go, of the Tennant series, when they go to the hospital on New York.
Oh, New York. Yep. Remember he takes Martha and she goes, great, rebound.
When
Cassandra?
Yeah, Cassandra.
Skin lady.
Yeah.
Skin lady, yeah.
Skin lady, yeah, I think that's what I was going for. When she turns into...
Oh, Rose?
Yeah, into Rose.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh my God, I'm a chav.
Yeah, I know.
That was my first introduction to what a chav was.
Me too. I had to look it up.
I definitely knew when I was watching it when I was young, going, oh, she's a bogan. She's a bit of a bogan.
Yeah.
She's a hot bogan. I think that's why I've always had a thing for bogans. Bogan chicks.
And the Tennant era really reintroduced things like the Cybermen, and it introduced brand new enemies that have lasted since the series has been on, like the Weeping Angels.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you've got, Blink. What an episode. What an episode. Yeah. The things like in Love and Monsters, the Absorbalot didn't really go too well.
That was a kid's drawing.
I know. But Fear Her is the other episode that I just could not stand. And that's the one...
And actually, to be honest, one of the things that did annoy me about Love and Monsters, that's the one with Elton, right?
Yep.
Yeah. One of the things that did annoy me is they've got that actress in it. She played Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
And she's in a lot of other shows that I love. She's in Happy Valley, a lot of great British television shows. And I love her. She's one of my favourite British actresses. Yeah, that's the only thing that annoys me is I do like that episode, but it does annoy me that she was on Doctor Who and she was wasted in that episode.
But there's a lot of that. So Simon Pegg is only in one episode. He just turns up for 10 minutes and that's it.
Don't talk anything about new season because Matt hasn't seen it.
No, I know.
Timothy Dalton is Rassilon and...
Yeah, at least he got a main role though. Like Olivia Colman was on and she was just a
the mother.
Just she was on it for less than a minute.
I know. And it's one of those things they said that it's really, everyone wants to be on it because it's fun, I think, and you get to, I don't know, be a baddie. Because I like the Cybermen. I think the Cybermen are scarier than the Daleks because the Cybermen want me to turn me into them. You know, they want me to be emotionless and I find that scarier than Daleks just want to kill me. Well, because you have to live on. But we did say in one podcast that we did think that Cybermen and comedians had something in common. When we're all off stage, we are all kind of Cybermen, just sort of sitting there going, no emotion, keep moving.
And when we have a bad gig, we look at our set list and we go, delete, delete.
I think for me, doing stand-up comedy, I'm more of a Dalek, because when I get up on stage, I always kill.
This set will exterminate.
That's what I say to myself before I go on stage. I just go, exterminate.
Exterminate.
I'm going to go out there tonight and I'm going to exterminate. You have a bad gig, you're like, oh no, I've got to regenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often think that about regeneration. We talked about it. There are some perks to it. You could really trash this body and get your next one. And...
Well, we were talking at one point about how if you ask someone out and they don't say yes, you could just stab yourself and they'll be like, how about now?
Yeah.
No?
How many?
How about now?
God, you'd really want to like that person, wouldn't you? I mean, you wouldn't just do it for a random...
And hope they're not a Time Lord, because if they fall over, like, oh, damn it, I wasted 3 regenerations on you.
I think that would be a turn-off, though.
Being able to regenerate?
Yeah, like if, someone is trying to pick you up and they're like, how about now? How about now?
You're stabbing
and
yourself.
It's like, but I just saw you were just an ugly person. I know you used to be ugly. Well, that's not technically true.
I just also think that stabbing yourself in front of somebody is probably not going to...
Yeah.
The hottest thing they could do. Is that not what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were in sync. We were going to say
it's either the most romantic thing or the least romantic thing.
No, I think it's probably... You get
it's
blood.
either Romeo and Juliet or some crazy dude on a train.
Well, I didn't want to mention this right now, but I do have this knife, Nicchia.
Shit.
Yeah, but you don't have 2 hearts.
Yeah.
We'll find out, won't we?
I just imagine the poor girl standing there just covered in blood going, is he ever going to stop stabbing himself? All right, I'll go out with you, for God's sake.
Or going, how did you know I was into blood? Oh, yeah, let's do this.
I'll stab you.
Keep stabbing yourself.
I don't have a car, but I got a phone box. A police box, sorry.
So, when I was asking you, do you ever find yourself doing any 10th Doctor sort of things? When you were a kid, or was there something that he did that you really went, that's what I'm going to include in my personality? I really like that. Or was it just as a...
Just being funny. Like, it's just kind of more broad things and even things that aren't even limited to the 10th Doctor. I really believe in the idea of decency.
Yeah.
And I love the word decent and decency. And, if I really like people, I always tell them that they're decent or give them some Doctor Who line or something.
And then they ask you where it's from and you're like, oh, I don't know. I heard
some
it from
rugby league player.
Yeah.
basically said we did our best out there with the boys.
To be honest, I think
Decency's a great word.
And I think really like the 12th Doctor, he was really big on that that kind of stuff.
I think they all are,
But I think
love that.
I think the 10th Doctor, whenever he would like, get into a speech or something, like he had like a real kind of fury about him.
Oh yeah.
A righteous
He could
fury.
go from like really jokey to suddenly like, no, stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And that's where we get that line of like, this earth is protected. And that always sticks in my head of like, yes. Yes, the Doctor will... And that's my thing, the difference between the 12th Doctor and the 10th Doctor is the 12th Doctor, in Deep Breath, you think he's abandoned Clara, but then he comes back. And he has that kind of edgy, like, I might leave you for a bit, but I'll probably come back. Whereas the 10th Doctor, you knew he was always going to be there. Not once were you ever let down by the 10th Doctor.
It's an interesting thing, but he just... I don't know, the writing, the acting, everything, but he was smart. He solved things a lot more with brain.
Yep.
The Sonic, I don't know if I think it was overused. I'm not sure. I never really noticed. I mean, everyone's picking it up, about Sonic, the Sonic screwdriver. A lot of people over the years have never liked it. He was sorry when he couldn't help them. And you're right. I think decency is the best word. I think that's what attracted me just to Doctor Who in general. Is it's kind and it's about helping people. So yeah, I was just curious if there was something that, like you started wearing red Converse sneakers or you started saying Allons-y every 5 minutes.
No, yeah, I'm a short person.
You can still say Allons-y when you.
I know, but like I barely. I don't know. It is weird because he's a tall, skinny nerd.
Yeah,
I'm none of those things.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a 10th Doctor Sonic screwdriver? Did you ever get one of those?
Oh no, I used to just pick up sticks and pretend like I'd be walking to school and I'd pretend.
And then people come up and go, "What's that?" And you go, "Gun."
Football player. It's a football player.
It's a football
Or
player.
you go to the Ekka and you get like a giant novelty pen, and then that was my Sonic screwdriver.
When my first Sonic screwdriver that was given to me was a David Tennant one, and no one was home. I'm a grown woman. I mean, I'm creeping towards death, right? And I walk up to every door in my house when no one's there, and I go, bzz, bzz, and then open the door. Every single one, just so I could pretend I had a Sonic screwdriver that worked. And I'm a grown up.
My ringtone isn't the Doctor Who theme. It used to be. That was my phone from 3 years ago.
Look, that's my ringtone.
It's your ringtone?
And
I don't even know how to get ringtones working.
Mine's just a generic ringtone.
I do tell the story in podcast, so we shouldn't probably have to do it again, but I wanted to tell you I went to a Doctor Who convention and I turned my phone off and I was lined up to get a photo with Matt Smith, and I heard the Doctor Who music theme go off on someone's phone, and I grabbed my phone out and I looked at it, and then I looked up and everyone else was looking at their phones as well.
That's gold.
I thought I'm with my people.
Oh, that's gold. Yeah, my theme song ringtone is from The Sopranos, not the Woke Up This Morning. The Tony, how Tony Soprano's phone, he's got like one of those old phones, and it's dun, 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 dun. I got that deliberately so I could every time I answer the phone, it's like I'm Tony Soprano.
I can't even do a Tony Soprano voice. I do no voices.
Yeah, hello.
That's it. That's it. Very good.
Is Tony Soprano in the room?
That's fun cool. I'm not going to offend Italian people. I don't
well, we've had Bjork here, so we've offended everyone.
Well, you had Bjork on the podcast?
Yeah.
Or you offended Bjork?
I'm sorry. I heard my name.
Oh.
Is Bjork from Icelandic
Oh my God.
Yeah, thank you, Bjork. No, you don't have to turn up every time someone mentions
Is Bjork a Doctor Who fan? I had no idea.
I do have to turn up every time someone mentioned my name. I always wear the swan dress from the Oscars because it is my favorite.
Yeah, Bjork does dress like a Doctor Who villain.
Yes, I am very sad that they did not consider me to be
Right.
there. They made an episode in Norway, which is near my home, but they did not consider me.
I so regret bringing up Bjork. I'm so sorry, Matt.
I would love to
you
hear.
said my name again.
I would love to hear Bjork do her version of a Doctor Who theme.
Me too. Yeah, let's hear it.
That would be amazing.
But I do not have my 55-man beatboxing, and they would be slapping the buttocks of an elephant. And that would be the baseline of the Doctor Who theme, I think.
I really actually want to get a video now, the YouTube of the Doctor Who theme through buttock slapping. What do you think?
Let me give it a try.
Oh my God, someone... Oh!
That's actually pretty good.
Well, I've got some questions for Matt over here.
I will leave you alone now. Goodbye.
Just talking about the theme quickly of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, guys.
That is one thing.
Guys.
That is one of my worst habits. Is I will on my own a cappella just do the Doctor Who theme song.
Oh, really?
At random times. I do it like I've got like one of those duck whistles. Like I always go.
Okay. Now do it.
Go on.
Very nervous. Oh, wait.
Hang on.
It's hard with the headphones on. It feels different.
We'll all look away.
And I will do that at random times, like when I'm dry, and people are like, "What is that? What are you doing? Stop!"
I'm imitating a theremin. Thank you very much.
I love that.
But I always do it with the and it drives people up the wall.
The backing track for our theme song is me going dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I listen to the podcast.
Yeah, it was.
I love it. Yeah,
it was a surprise to me. He did just pop that on, and I really liked it. I was a little disappointed I couldn't be in the background dancing.
Yeah.
Someone's got it as their ringtone, which is very strange to
Yeah,
me.
well, no, but that's really nice. It's
But thank you, being Tim.
Being Tim.
I shouldn't say strange. I should say surreal.
Well, surreal for you, but I think it's a good song. I like it.
A song that I recorded in my kitchen is now tell someone when they have a message or a phone call. You know.
Well, at least it's not some soppy love song you recorded in your kitchen to some woman that just got leaked onto the internet. That could be worse.
Why? Do you have a copy of that? Or?
Yeah, I do,
Oh,
and we'll
God,
play it later.
I don't know why I sent that to you. That's so weird.
Yeah, no. Well, my husband David, got a few words for you later, but we'll do that later. Okay, so this is my question, Matt. You're the 10th Doctor, okay? Yep. You're David Tennant. Which companion would you take with you from your season, from all the companions you've had? Which is the one that you would want to travel with the most?
Oh, Rose.
Easy.
Yeah,
I already
totally.
said I have the hots for Rose.
Now-
True. No, I've got another one.
I want to add to that question.
okay.
Which companion out of the ones that weren't your companions, which companion would you take?
Yeah, so you can't take any of Tennant's. You've got to take any.
You can't take Rose, you can't take Martha, you can't take Donna. You have to take somebody else's companion.
Sarah Jane.
Oh,
yes!
Nice
Yes!
choice.
Sarah Jane is my favourite.
Who also shows up in the Tennant Doctor.
I know.
Yeah.
She shows up
School
quite a bit,
reunion,
actually.
yep.
I think he plays that brilliantly.
Yeah.
Just brilliantly. He's so excited to see her.
That's why I was glad I watched Old Who, is because
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
watched that, I was
Yeah.
like, I felt like I was in on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that the New Who people weren't in on. And Sarah Jane was...
Like I love Rose. She was like my crush.
Oh,
But
yeah,
even
totally.
Sarah Jane in that episode, it's just a bit of a milf.
Oh, yeah.
But watching those new episodes...
Well, she was so cute when she
Oh
was
my
young.
God.
She was
Yeah.
so good looking.
But watching those new episodes, it was interesting to then, because I hadn't watched the old Who, I'd then go online and look up, well, who's K9, who's Sarah Jane, and get an idea of those old episodes. So it was fun to see those
Yeah,
old things come in.
and I'm looking forward to when you start watching some of the older ones I've given you
Yep.
that have got Sarah Jane and Tom Baker and Harry
Interesting.
Sullivan. I
Yep.
liked Harry.
What's your next question?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was the one, and you already had that. If there was any other companion from any other season, who would you pick?
Oh, wow. We had the same idea.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we podcast together. We're staying together. You don't get bingo back.
Yeah, no, bingo. Sorry, but I will quit this podcast. Bingo. Now, did you know that David Tennant was not born David Tennant?
Yes.
Yes.
His original name was David MacDonald. Mm-hmm. The British Actors Equity Association already had a David MacDonald on the books.
Who no one's ever heard of.
No. Who is this guy? I love this rule that they have. You can only have one person with that name.
I was about to say, I know David McDonald, but it's just some guy I know in
Yeah.
Brisbane
Yeah,
called
yeah,
David
yeah, I
McDonald.
don't think
But
He's my
he-
friend Mark McDonald's dad.
He's huge in Britain, though. So he took the stage name David Tennant using the surname of Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys.
He said his mother was very
Oh,
upset.
what a nerd.
Yeah.
Total nerd. He loves the Pet Shop Boys.
He said he was young and he just was looking through Hits magazine and he saw them there, so he took it. And his mother was saying, "Well, why don't you take my maiden name?" No, we wanted a cool name.
What was his mother's maiden name?
I
Do you know?
I don't
know.
remember. I just remember reading that.
I do that whenever I do have to get a pseudonym or something like that.
Yeah.
Not that I ever, but playing video game stuff, I always take my mum's maiden name.
So Matt has many aliases.
You could be playing video games with Matt right now. So when he wanted to start working in America, he had to legally change his name to David Tennant to appease the Stage Actors Guild because they wouldn't let him use a stage name.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That always annoys me. Like that whole thing of the guild and all that.
Yeah.
Can't have a name that someone else has already
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Michael J. Fox.
That's not his real name?
I thought it was, but he had to put the J in because there was another Michael Fox. Cary Grant's name completely off is Archibald Leach, which is just the worst name. That's his real name.
Well, there's another comedian in Britain called Matt Ford.
Oh, really?
But it's with an E on the end of Ford.
Ah.
I was like, so if the same thing happened, would I have to change my name? Or?
What would you change your name to if you had to change your name?
I already told you my mum's maiden name.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No, don't give us that one because then everyone will know who it is. So if you had to pick another name and you couldn't use anything,
David Tennant.
Before, because mine would be Giddy Up McGurkin Squirt, because I just think Giddy Up is the funniest first name you could ever have.
Well, me and a mate of mine were playing online poker, and there was a guy, and his name was Quasar, which I thought was the funniest thing in the world.
Wow.
So I've been big on Quasar.
Quasar. Hey, I worked with a guy whose name was Max Rock. And I thought that was pretty much the coolest name I could ever think of. Max Rock.
I would change my first name to Demetrius.
Demetrius.
I think it's very exotic.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd probably go. Well, now I feel like I'm copying you because you said Demetrius.
No, you can pick.
But you just gave me the idea for the last Quasar Demetrio.
Oh, there you go.
I think you should be Hubert Winterbottom Smythe. You look like nothing like a Hubert Winterbottom Smythe.
Yeah, no, you'd have to be real white.
Yeah.
You
have to be real white, real rich, and real English.
You have to not just have one top hat, but a collection of top hats.
Oh, you do, and a manservant. I would like a manservant.
Are we allowed manservants in this day and age?
Well, no, but they pay them.
Yeah, I know.
They're not slaves.
I know.
Not a manservant, a Nubian prince.
A Nubian
prince. Now, John, we can't give too much away.
No. Anyway, did you know that David Tennant appeared in an uncredited small role in the 40th anniversary animated webcast, Scream of the Shulker? Do you remember? That's the Richard E. Grant Doctor. He was recording nearby, and when he found out they were recording a Doctor Who audio, he begged the director to give him a small role.
And Richard E. Grant was the Doctor in that one, and he was also on the Big Finish audios as a Dalek, one of the guys who was fighting the Daleks, just a regular soldier. You know, he said he's the only Scottish actor who's never been in Taggart.
He wants to be Taggart, though.
Well, he said he's auditioned that many times, and he reckons he's the only person in Scotland who hasn't been on
Taggart is like the Scottish Doctor Who?
Well, Taggart is set in Scotland. Yeah. They're all Scottish, and everybody gets a guest role. You know, like when
like the Scottish Doctor Who.
Scottish Doctor Who.
What's our equivalent? Neighbours?
Yeah. Neighbours or
Neighbours
Home and
isn't like...
No, Neighbours or Home and Away.
Soapy. Is Taggart a soapy?
No.
It just has to be a show like that that everybody
show,
appears on. So America would be Law and Order.
Yeah.
Like, to be an actor, you basically have to do a guest role on Law and Order. To be an actor in the UK, you have to be on Doctor Who, or back in the day, it would have been
Underbelly or something.
Yeah, maybe. Although it seems to be in Law and Order, you had to be in Oz, because all of the people in the HBO gritty prison drama Oz, and believe me, it's pretty gritty, all of them ended up in Law and Order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you say in Oz, I thought you meant Australia.
No, it's a TV show set in a prison called Oz, and it's full on.
I thought you meant the wonderful land of Oz.
Oh, I've been there, and that was lovely.
Were we all there?
Yeah, you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
Was I the name of the dog, like Rose?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, it was just Adam, just running around.
You were talking about the Big Finish audio dramas. One of the audio dramas that he recorded with Big Finish was recorded in between when he found out he was going to be Doctor Who, but before they'd announced it.
Oh,
so that would have been a very, like, imagine him sitting there recording this audio drama, unable to tell anyone, guys, I am the next Doctor Who. That would be insane.
Wouldn't that be the hardest secret to keep?
Yeah.
And you just want to walk around. I would just smile for weeks and weeks. Nicchia's the happiest person. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
I think I'd enjoy it. I think I'd enjoy the knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be a bit smug with it,
no one
would
else
you?
knows.
You'd be like, delay my season so I can just walk around for longer.
Yeah,
nobody knowing.
yeah. You can do a few of your David Tennant overreactions then.
Yeah.
I really wish we had video for some of these things that Matt's been
The
doing
the darting eyes.
No, he did not overact. He was very good.
And talking of Voyage of the Damned, the episode that features Kylie Minogue, it is the most watched episode of the rebooted series with 13.31 UK viewers.
Well, you got Doctor Who fans and Kylie fans.
Exactly.
I mean, who would have thought Kylie would have come to the heights that she had? Good on her.
She's really picked herself up since the 80s.
Well, she's been on Neighbours. She's done Doctor Who. Now she just needs to go on Taggart and
Taggart, Law and Order.
Yeah. Taggart. So, Matt, what we do when we finish is we like to find out from our guests what your Time Lord name would be.
Oh, you really stumped me. I've been rabbiting on for
The rabbit. Oh, that doesn't
The
sound...
rabbit.
No,
That
no.
could be something else.
Yeah, that could mean something else. The laid back.
The laid
The laid
back.
back.
Or the patient.
The patient.
patient?
How
I'd
about
probably
the
go the patient. Patient's a lot nicer.
The patient
What were
or
you
the
gonna go with?
patience?
patience?
No.
'Cause I don't want to call you patient.
Yeah, because that sounds like I got a problem.
Yeah. How about decency? Decent.
The decent.
The
Yeah.
decent. There we go. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I try to be decent. Doesn't mean I am decent.
Well, the doctor tries to be the doctor. That's why he gave himself that name.
Doesn't always heal everybody, and
Yeah.
he doesn't always do no harm.
He gave himself that doctor. He gave himself that face because he wanted to be a good person. So
Yeah.
he could be the decent.
You reckon he'll ever get red hair?
I hope,
I hope
so.
so. He became a woman before he got red hair.
I
so-
know. Well, Chris Marshall's kind of a blondie, sandy,
Strawberry blonde.
blonde, and I thought, well, if they were going to pick him, he would have been all right. But then anyone who didn't like Matt Smith probably would have freaked out over that.
And that's it for another episode. Thank you very much for joining us, Matt. Is there anything you'd like to plug in 2019?
No.
No, but you have a comedy page on Facebook.
Yeah, I got a comedy
Yep.
page. It's just Matt Ford, and I got a Twitter, Matthew_Ford. I could have got Matt Ford. Why did I have to go with my actual name?
Oh no, now you need a stage name.
Now people refer to me on Twitter like they're my mum.
Matt Ford.
And I was going to say Instagram, but there's really no point in plugging Instagram considering I have a
Yeah.
Nokia 3210.
That's probably worth money now in some museum somewhere.
Is that an original or is that
No,
like
no,
a
it's
new?
one of the
Yeah,
new
it's a
ones.
new
Oh,
re-release.
damn.
Nicchia, anything to plug?
No, just as always, just plugging All In Brewery at the end of every month on a Friday. We have a great lineup, so make sure you check out my comedy page, Nicchia Shook Comedy, or the All In Brewing page, and it's in Banyo.
Fantastic. As always, you can follow Adam O'Sullivan Comedian on Facebook and visit thenerdinfinite.com.
And if you don't rate and review us on iTunes, you're embarrassing us in front of all of our new friends. So I want you to rate us. I want you to review us on iTunes, only if you've got something good to say. And I want you to recommend us on Facebook. Follow us on Podbean, and we are also now available on Spotify. Just get the word out there. And please engage with us. The more people engage with us, the better it is with the podcast, the things we
We'd
can
love to
talk
hear
about.
from you.
Yeah, we've already got a few. We've got Charles and Being Tim. So, we'd like to a few
So
more.
more than two, basically, is what we're asking for. And get the word out. An experiment has gone awry and you have been made invisible. However, this has caused your eyeballs to become invisible, so no light can enter your retinas, leaving you blind. You spend the rest of your days unable to be seen by anyone and unable to see yourself. You contend your time by listening to brand new episodes of D4WH, now the only way you can experience Doctor Who. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor.
Goodbye. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Don't yell out edit point because it really annoys Beck Tech.
Edit point.